Okay, fellow Earth wanderers, and hopefully with a little bit of your awareness that we are as well partly celestial beings or made up of celestial substance. I'm going to do something slightly different this week because, when I looked at all what was happening planetary wise, not a lot. There's always a lot, but the focus of the moon this week. So I'm going to actually just take you on a journey that is more related to the lesson, an astrological lesson for this week. But notice the chart is different. I don't have the 0 degrees airy with equal signs going all the way around it. This is kind of the chart that I work with, and this is one set up for 8 o'clock in the morning here in the Pacific Northwest. And, the reality of celestial time versus man-made time is that when spring comes, we spring forward an hour, which this is 8 o'clock in the morning, and you can kind of see the sun looks like it's actually up fairly high in the sky. Whereas in reality, this is what time celestial time says. It's really only 7 in the morning. And the sun is, just a little bit over that eastern horizon off there to our east. But anyway, back to man-made time. That's moving basically the clock, or moving Earth, I should say, 1 hour at a time. Picture, if you will, this center part of the chart. This is the Earth, and it's rotating around in a counterclockwise direction, which makes it seem like the planets are rotating in a clockwise direction, whereas from the actual celestial dance that's going on, the planets are moving in this counterclockwise direction, just not quite as fast as the Earth is rotating, because the Earth does this every day, whereas the moon takes, let's see, 30 days, 27 days in reality, plus a little, to make its way entirely around planet Earth. And in that 27 days, our Earth rotates 27 times around. And, you can kind of see that's slightly different. But here, let's just give you this is 8 o'clock in the morning, man time. And as you move through the day, it looks like the planets are just kind of going above us. You can kind of see there's the sun. It's midday, 12 noon. Sun is directly overhead. And as we go on, this being sunset, this being sunrise, as you can kind of see, here we get to 4 in the evening, 4 in the afternoon, and the sun's still up pretty high in the sky. The moon, by the way, is just gone into, let's see, go back an hour. It's just gone into Taurus, which it's going to be the moon dance for this week is a new moon. Actually, if we just go back to our morning shot. This is the sun here at ostensibly 6 in the morning, showing that it's coming up, whereas in the reality, it's not. It's still below the horizon. But here, 5 in the morning, the moon has just come up. And since we're heading toward the new moon, we've got this crescent version in that sky. It just starts to lighten in the morning, that crescent moon. And basically the crescent is on the left-hand side of the moon. That sun it's coming around the Earth, and it's being hit from the side by the sun, and we get that little bit of a crescent on the left side of the moon. And, paying attention to the actual lunar dance is quite a fascinating thing. When it's a new moon, the moon is just coming up after the sun in the evening sky, and it's being hit from the other side. So you get this crescent on the right side of the moon. And as the moon moves around each day, a little bit more of the sun is reflected on that surface of the moon. And so the moon gets a little bit bigger, expanding from that right side until it gets to be the full moon on the opposite side of the earth from the sun, except during eclipses. And that's only just a short snippet of time anyway. And then it gets smaller and smaller as we go through the days. And until we get to this point right now where that moon is just a little crescent off on the morning sky before the sun takes over. And as you can kind of see, I'm running the day through here. As we get to the end of the day, this is Monday, by the way, I'm showing. The moon, here it is, 7 o'clock at night. The moon is just getting ready to go down. And by this point, at the end of Monday, you can kind of see we're basically 15 degrees away from the sun. You're not going to be able to see the moon. Too much light from the sun. And, as we race on into the next day, here we're in nighttime. You can kind of see this is the day part of, since this is the horizon, this is day, and there's no planets left in the day because we're in nighttime. All the planets are on the other side of the planet. This is from Washington, where I live's perspective. And we continue to charge on through the night. Tuesday has arrived, Here we are, 5 o'clock in the morning. The moon is just about to rise. Won't be able to see it. Theoretically, the sun has arisen right now. But remember, this is man-made time. And so we're not necessarily going to see it. It'll be light in the sky, but the sun hasn't really gone across there from the celestial perspective. And we go into the day, Tuesday. I'm doing this just so you can get the feel for it. This is, picture if you will, this is the Earth rotating around here in the middle. Makes it seem like the planets are going around the other way. And as we get into the day, kind of see, here we go. Look at that. The sun and the moon are coming together right here. Actually, they weren't quite together. But they're really, really close, within a degree of each other. And as they go down, you can kind of see, here we are, the sun and the moon at 18 degrees. And this is Tuesday. It's evening time, nighttime, actually. And we're looking at what kind of energy might the moon have to offer as it begins this next lunar dance cycle. First, I want to consider that we'll come back to other factors of the moon that I also want to put into play here. But I always like to, kind of look at every new moon cycle to say, what does the Sabian symbol have to say, which is a divination type process? Say, what kind of energies might we tune into, which doesn't necessarily mean that the vision that the psychic, Elsie Wheeler, had down in Balboa Park, San Diego area with, Mark Jones back in, I think, 1915 or something like that. That's where these symbols came from. And, they're more of a psychic perspective that doesn't, if you try and take them too literally, I think you miss out on the actual energy in play that, is going to affect each of us rather uniquely. Anyway, if we read the Sabian symbol for this particular new moon, initiating the next lunar cycle here in Taurus, it reads, a new continent rising out of the ocean. Now that sounds pretty dynamic. And the keynote, the surge of new potentiality after the crisis. A continent emerging out of the ocean. That's That's pretty dynamic energy. And if we look at it just from our human perspective, it's going to seem like it takes a long time. That's not always the case, however. Things are, likely at the planetary level, rattling just a little bit. Well, the symbol need hardly be commented on. When the mind has been emptied and light has been called upon to purify the consciousness, freed from its attachment and contaminations, a new release of life can emerge out of the infinite ocean of potentiality. The virgin space. You have to ask the question, what will it be used for? We're in Taurus right now, remember? Earth sign, practicality. What can we take the physical implement of what it is that life is about in this first Earth sign and put it to use? Earth always wants to put things to use. Because this is the fourth stage symbol, we find it is in it a suggestion of how to approach whatever new phase of life has been not only hoped for, but actually confirmed. The technique is simply to allow the infinite potential to operate in an unconstrained spontaneity. This means to have reached a state in which the conscious, rational ego is no longer a controlling factor. I don't know, but can you feel the potential for newness in that? And this is a new moon that we're talking about. I'm going to flash this chart ahead a few hours to around 8 in the morning because that's the hour that I like to use every day. And we're going to bump this back to Monday. The moon. Remember, we're going to talk about the moon this week. The moon is our mood. How do you feel about things? That's really what mood means. Pardon me. On Monday, the moon is just getting near completing its dance through the Aries cycle. And recently, last week actually, Mars entered Aries. Mars, the warrior, actually energetic planet has landed in Mars, in Aries. And you have to ask yourself, Mars in Aries says, what is worth protecting? That is Mars in Aries' essential thing, and in that, there's a vivaciousness of energy that says, all these factors of newness, that is the Aries element, essentially, what is new and what is worth saving, what is worth protecting. So the moon mood that has been for the last 2 days, means over the weekend, asking us, what has been your mood of the potential for, protection? Of what is it that you sense has required your energy to actually, tune into what in your world might need a little bit more protection around it? That has been the lunar dance as it's been approaching Taurus, which here on Monday, remember we did our planetary dance move, so an hour at a time, has, it goes into Taurus. So here we are, Tuesday, Taurus, and there we are, the moon and Venus holding hands as the moon is right there on the edge of that cycle of beginning a new dance in Taurus. The mood of the moon while it's in Taurus, you know, it's exalted in Taurus, there is comfort that is, you know, you can feel it. It's palpable while the moon is in Taurus. Can you sense the potential for seeking something that is comfortable? That's essential Taurian energy, you know. Make me comfortable. Pamper me if you will. I seek to be ladled out, stuff, substance. I've just come out of that, highly contentious Aryan energy. And I'm slipping into the Taurian space where I need a break. I need some relaxation time. I need to tune into this marvelous environment, tune into Mother Earth energy that surrounds me and pay attention to it. There's a magic right now that the moon represents at this particular new moon moment here in the evening of Tuesday as we begin a new lunar dance from the land of Taurus, that first earth sign of the zodiac. Might there be druidic energies at work? That is highly possible when you get into the land of Taurus. Nature, loving energies at work, percolating to say, put my hands down, feel the earth, take my shoes and socks off, and allow my toes to sink into this marvelous planet upon which I stand. Lay down, if you will. Feel the energy of this marvelous planet holding you to its surface, allowing the energy to percolate up through you as a part of this planetary being. That is what is at work. If you but take the time, shall I say, to feel that energy at work. Taurus asks, what is something worth? What is personal value? After all, it is part of those planets below the horizon. It's like, I am. What do I own here in second house? And what can I learn here in the third house? And how is my home, the fourth house energy? And what's the creativity of fifth house energy that, says I need to express myself in a dynamic fashion? And then the sixth house, the last house of the energy of discovery of self. Where do I fit in to this life dance? Who are my compatriots that I need to hang with as I do fit into this dance? Yeah, I see my arrow when I shake it gets like a little excited. Woo! Anyway, Taurian energy. The value of things from all kinds of levels, from the personal thing, is this thing of value to me? Do I need it? From a Taurian perspective, we have to weigh that out and say, does this fit with what I understand my position in the creative matrix is within that compound of the me? If it does, accept it. for the season and reason that it shows up, always being aware that that season and reason is a variable and it will change as you change. We all change, when we go through the living experience. And we're right now initiating a new moon, asking us what new continent of awareness is emerging within us right now, within me right now, that's saying, pay attention. There's something new on the horizon that is not minor, not by any stretch of the imagination. It sits at the foundation of what I understand worth to be, to me personally, as Jeff, that is soul awareness. And while I can't, force or drive into you that same, essence of soul consciousness that drives me, I invite you to ponder upon it. We all are soul, essentially. Some of us are a little bit more aware of it than others. And ask yourself, as a soul being, when you incarnated, what was your soul intent? Here in the realm of Taurus this week, we'll go through the week here rather rapidly. We'll see what our moon mood does on Wednesday. The actual celestial dance carries certain levels of weight, shall we say, as the planets dance with one another. The moon being so frigging fast in its movement, only gives you, a few hours, maybe a day's worth of substance to, feel into when it makes a conjunction or is holding hands with any particular planet. As you saw going through the week, we held hands with Venus, the Sun, Uranus, and now on Wednesday we're holding hands with Jupiter. But it's going quick, and Jupiter's saying, don't think small, think big. We're in Taurus. What kind of things do we want to think big about? We're talking about our moods, what those inner feelings. These aren't something necessarily that well, actually, I can't say that other people won't notice it, because sometimes the moon's moods are such that, we cannot contain ourselves for how we feel. And other people are kind of going, whoa, Jeff, you're feeling this, and I'm, is it the kind of feeling that, I need to give you space? Or is it the kind of feeling that says, can we come close? And, is it time for a hug? Possibilities? That range is always in play. Do me again. And on through the week we go. Remember, Mars is still in Aries, so there's still that, that driving thing, what is it that needs to be protected? The moon has gone through, basically the Aries thing into Taurus, saying, well, if it needs protection, does it have worth to me to actually provide that protection? It's in play. And as Thursday comes upon the scene, the moon moves into the land of curiosity, Gemini. We go, Gemini, ruled by Mercury. Mercury's still in Aries. Mercury is also about communication. And remember, now we have Mars and Mercury kind of bookending this Aries dance. What needs to be protected? How can I speak clearly about what or how that protection might be facilitated. And the moon being in Gemini is getting this energy from Mercury saying, you know, hey, yo, moon, don't forget about what it is that's, that's important. Mercury. I mean, Gemini is kind of like, uh, if you can convince me that, and we're talking about our moods here, if you can convince me that I don't need to, continue to be overtly curious about the experiences that are all around me and, begging for my attention, essential Gemini, that is like, if you start to bore me with too much, stuff that's just a repetitive kind of thing, I'm going to lose interest and I need to go check something else out. This is essential Gemini. And the moon's in it. Can you feel that potential? And this, we go into the weekend with the moon still in Gemini. New moon, remember, spun out of the Taurian zone. What's worthwhile? And now the moon in Gemini, as we go into the weekend, is saying, what's worthwhile to head for as I go into this weekend? And even shortly, Saturday comes along, we're in Cancer. Moon is at home. It's in that zone where, what is the value? Remember, we're still in Taurus season. What's the value of home to me? Am I tuned in enough to my family, to my relatives, to the actual energy of what does home mean to me? This is the kind of energy that's going to be in play this weekend. Yes, we still have Mars in Aries. There, might there be aspects of the home front that could be under fire and need some protection, under stress? Venus is in Taurus, Don't stress out. Relax. Have some more dessert. Comfort food. Eat well. Rest. Meditate. These are the kind of energies that Taurus embraces fully. And we're still in the Taurian season. So, that's all I got for this week. Yep. And I'm going to just invite you to, tune into the moon this week. As the new moon happens, set your intentions. Can you see on your horizon the potential for something new arising? Oftentimes, we miss those things. And the reason is because we're so friggin' hung up on, what it is that we want. And Taurus can be about, I want. But are you open enough to take the time? Remember, relax, meditate, really sense into what is of value. I may want something. Is it of value or is it just something fleeting? In this moment, it's kind of like, I need that. I can't answer that for you. You have to. So therefore, that's an essay question. I'm going to a birthday party for one of the neighborhood ladies today. She turned 100 yesterday. Quite a dynamic person. And Jackie is making the treats and desserts for it, so should be quite a festive occasion. This lady has got, energy. She really does. Go Alice. Anyway,